Hello everyone, another quick video since I can, and because that's the only video I have missing to work on. So this is the new tier list for Sacred Seals. Before we start, I guess I should mention, as per usual, new seals have been added. It's been a while, but figured I'd mention it anyway. Attack Death Bond being one of the best seal of the bunch, period. So, yeah, here you go. So, let's start with Fire Boost. Yeah, there's not much to say here, is there? Fire Boost is a pretty mediocre seal. Yes, it can have a better payoff than Attack Plus 3, but typically, any unit that would really like that type of skill doesn't really use it too well. Now, I know Arden and Zephyr can both use it fairly okay, but that's just it. It's fairly okay, and it's a niche seal more than anything. Boost skills are also never useful in, you know, abyssal maps, where even the shittiest of all unit HP-wise have something like 60 to 70 HP. So much HP, in fact, that Zephyr actually struggles proccing it on them. Yay! Because you gotta make everything an HP sponge and then make a seal that's based on HP. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that. God, it's mediocre. But yeah, no, if you're going to be working on something to buff your attack, work on an Attack Plus 3 seal. One of the many of them. Next up is Even Death Wave. I know already a lot of people are going to be like, why is it so low? Let me explain why Death Tactic to me is so much better than Even Death Wave. Even Death Wave buffs the character itself, and yes, that is worth mentioning. Can be good for some solo characters if you're soloing on certain maps. Yes, I do agree with that. However, the problem with it is it's only one range. Death Tactic, if the character in particular doesn't really need the buff, like for example if you're using an arena cheerleader, it's gonna be just perfect. Stacking buffs together to buff the one unit becomes extremely easy, and it's not turn reliant on top of it. The reason why this is important is, well, it's easier to stack tactics than waves. Yes, you can stack waves, but they need to be on very specific spots, because it's only working on adjacent allies. Whereas, Death Tactic, you can be somewhat far and it still works. On top of it, wave does not work whatsoever with characters such as Lagoose, if you don't have a full team of Beast and Dragon units. So that's another weak point of this type of skill. While Tactic will do you just fine and actually synergizes with Nyla's weapon, because then you are in range for the +2 attack and speed for Nyla, and on top of that, you provide stat to Nyla. You can't really do that with waves. She will just detransform, which sucks. It absolutely sucks. So, yeah, it's pretty underpowered. That's not to say the seal itself is absolutely useless. That's just wrong, but it's definitely on the weaker side. Is it worth upgrading? If you don't have, like, if you have everything else that's up there that you think you need already done, yeah, sure. If not, well, there's better seals. That's just what it is. And also the problem is it only works all the time. I've said this before a lot and I'll say it again. Wave skills are very niche. They can work on certain sets, but typically what you'll want is just something that's more consistent. If you have to back off all the time to actually apply the buff, it needs to be a stat that's not easily buffable. Death Tactic is super easy to get, as it's a seal, and also on a Tempest Trial unit if you actually require it. So that's none of these things. Now, if it was a Speed Wave seal, that's another matter entirely, because you don't have a lot of ways to buff speed consistently. You have Drive Speed for high arena play, but that's basically all you've got. Also Speed Ploy, but that's reliant on you having a specific stat. So Speed Wave is actually pretty good. But Attack Tactic, Death Tactic, Rest Tactic kind of shits on the other three like it's nothing. There's just no reason for them. So, yeah, that's basically all I had to say for this seal. Next up is Brazen Attack Death. Boy, oh boy, Brazen Attack Death. I knew it was coming, and I pointed it out on several of my videos, though I was not sure if they were actually going to do this. Now, I really hope not Brazen, but Attack Res Bond comes in, because that's actually the seal I want the most right now, but other than this is a fantastic seal. 7 attack and defense is always fantastic, and you can combo this into another Brazen Attack Death pretty well if you have the bulk for it. I don't think I have to explain how useful this is. Brazen Attack Res is basically a slightly weaker version of this, but the fact remains you don't have infinite of those as seals, and more than one character can actually gain from it. Whereas stuff like Tactic, you really only need one character on the team able to buff. So, yeah, you don't need like multiple like this. Brazen Attack Death is probably the seal you should be maxing out immediately after obtaining, because it's just that good of a seal. Plenty of characters can use it. I know my Ira is gonna still stick with Brazen Attack Res, because Brazen Attack Death is easy to obtain from Ares, and I want to actually get the Res buff as well. But there's plenty of characters that can use it pretty well. Especially characters such as Alphonse or Celica if you want to keep your Brazen Attack Res on someone else. This gives you more options and definitely is welcomed. I'm kind of curious why we have only the Brazen Attack seals, however, because I would like to see Brazen Death Res as a seal or Brazen Speed Death. Those types of seal would be absolutely fantastic. Brazen Attack Speed would obviously be the next logical step, but I know the next seal rotation probably has aerobatics from what I've read of people data mining the game, which great. I'm glad that my 5 Ninos has been invalidated this quickly. So glad. Anyway, I think that about concludes this update. Again, not much to say, there's only 3 seals to review, so... Well, here you go. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time, or in the comments. See ya!